Alrighty, what's good boys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are on the brand new Triumph 450. Now this is work in progress, so I'm not too sure when this video is going to be coming out. But I'm one of the testers, so I've got the bikes early. These are just currently work in progress, so they're not fully finished yet. But we're just going to be riding it. We're going to be doing a little bit of Supercross here on the aerial test track, and then I think we're going to go over to DDC round 1. Do a few laps on that, and then we're going to go over to an outdoor track. I'm not too sure which one just yet, but then we'll run a few laps, I think, on an outdoors track. But yeah, very, very nice looking bike. It's the RC4 edition. Obviously, the 450 is the RC4 edition. But it's a very, very nice bike. Cockpit on it is very nice. I like that he's moved the levers in as well. Gives it a bit more of a realistic feel. And yeah, let's get right on into it. So before we do anything, we have brand new gearing that you can fiddle around with. You can change gearing around. So I can have, I can have longer gear 1. I could have a shorter gear 1. I could have anything, you can change anything around. And it was literally just these before. But now you can sort of fiddle around with how long you want them. So yeah, I prefer a longer gear 2. So I might even flick it up a little bit in gear 2. So I can keep it in second gear a little bit longer. We're just going to try things. We're going to fiddle around with things. I'll put the suspension back to default. I was doing a little bit of fiddling around with it yesterday, just like suspension setups. But we'll put it back to default. We're going to go completely bone stock so you guys can get the real view of what it is. Obviously, I've only lowered the fuel. I can put all these back, but we are going to be running it in race mode, which is the new mode. Basically brings all the bikes a bit closer together. And yeah, let's give this a go. I've put the second gear up a little bit. 1352 is kind of what I like, running a little bit more. 1348 is stock, but that's a little bit long for Supercross. So yeah, we'll go with 1352 for now. But yeah, let's get right into it. We have quick shift on this bike as well, which I like. I like that we have quick shift on this bike. So let's keep it in second because we've got a longer second gear like we've just changed. So we're going to see if we can keep it in second for quite a lot longer. And then shift up to third. Now this is a bone stock setup and it isn't great in the whoops. I will tell you that right now. It struggles in the whoops a little bit more than like anywhere else. I feel like everywhere else is not too bad. But then again, we're on a bone stock setup for Supercross. So it isn't going to be the greatest in the whoops anyway. But I was fiddling around with setup. I might even be worth... I don't really know. I've not tested this. I do kind of want to test this a little bit. Whether it's worth putting a KTM setup onto onto the Triumph. Because it kind of rides a bit like the KTM. It feels a little bit like the KTM. So I don't know. I don't know whether it's going to be worth putting a KTM setup on this bike. Now, it's struggling a little bit because it's a very, very soft stock setup. Compared to obviously a Supercross setup where you want it nice and stiff. So see if we can just sort of plow our way through the whoops. Like the only way we're going to be able to get through them. And then nice and easy on the throttle. Go over this. Stretch these a little bit. But yeah, I think once you got this thing dialed down with a bit of a setup, a bit more of a stiffer kind of setup, it's going to absolutely bark. And I think it's just a really, really smooth feeling bike. It feels good, doesn't feel too heavy, doesn't feel too light, kind of in between. But yeah, I believe, now I'm saying this as I believe, this video won't be coming out until these bikes are actually out. But I believe we're getting these before Supercross. There are a lot of work in progress bikes. Obviously, most of the bikes are work in progress, but I don't see why we'd bring out a new OEM pack so close to Supercross. So I don't think they're all going to be coming out. I just feel like we'll be getting like a Triumph maybe before Supercross. I could be completely wrong. They could all be coming out, but I don't really know if I'm gonna like if they're bringing out an entire new OEM pack. Well, a week before Aerial. I'm recording this on Saturday. So about a week, just under a week now until A1. So yeah, I don't think they'll release a full OEM pack, or at least I hope not. But if they do, then they do. We just have to get grinding on the game a little bit and try and figure out, suspension or what bike is best. But I don't know, this bike, I don't know, it feels like it's struggling a little bit on Supercross, but then I just feel like because it's mainly, well, I feel like that's just because it's a stock setup, I think. That's literally the only reason. I feel like if I wanted to fiddle around with it a little bit, I could actually, dial it in and make it feel a bit nicer. But, I mean, it kind of does everything, as you can see by how I'm running now. It kind of does everything you want. It just is a very, very soft setup. But yeah, I just wanted to get a raw opinion on it. I do apologize if the lighting has just changed. My ring light that I have on my desk has decided to, I don't know, it just went all dim and then the webcam went off as well. And they're all plugged into a USB sort of device thing where they're all sort of in together. So I'm not too sure if it just had a lack of power for a sudden, but that was very weird. I'm basically not using the ring light now, so hopefully the light doesn't look too bad, but I'm just using my main light at the minute because my ring light has decided to go off. So hopefully the light and everything is still fine. It looks okay on my second monitor, but don't know what happened there. Very, very odd. That's not happened before. It just all of a sudden went dim so I'll leave it off for now. But yeah, let's go over to DDC round 1. Okay, let's go to DDC round 1, and we'll run a few laps on there as well. Alrighty, we're on DDC round 1 now. I feel like this bike's going to be a lot better on this track because it's not as demanding as aerial test track. So I feel like this bike's probably going to be better with stock setup. Obviously, you guys will be, you know, fiddling around with setup, things like that, when you guys get this bike. But I kind of just wanted a raw ride on it first, just kind of see what it's really like, see what it's capable of with no suspension whatsoever. And just kind of showing that you don't always need a suspension to be smooth on Supercross. But yeah, it feels like a nice bike. I don't really know if it's going to be meta, but it's another bike with quick shift. And I don't know, I feel like any bike with quick shift could be a top bike. Whoops is its like kryptonite at this point, I feel like. Now, I think it is just suspension. But yeah, it seems to be able to do everything else fine other than whoops. Oh my god, it didn't want to turn there. But I don't know, it feels like a KTM almost. It kind of sounds a bit like a KTM as well. I don't know if it's the exact same sound mod, but I don't know, it feels like it, it sounds like it. It's got quick shift as well. So I don't know, I feel like it could definitely be up there with the Husky and the KTM. But meta? I don't know, I guess we'll have to try and find out. This race mapping that they've got on all the bikes are kind of supposed to be almost... I was not stopping for that corner. I'm supposed to bring the bikes closer together in speed. So I don't really know. It might make them feel better. It might bring the bikes closer together. There might not even be a meta going into these new bikes. Who knows? But I don't know. I feel like there always is a meta. There's always a bike that someone wins on, or there's always a bike that someone does well on, and that's a bike that everyone wants to be using. But yeah, I don't know if there will be. With this new mapping, it's supposed to bring the bikes a lot closer together. So we'll see if it does actually do that. But yeah, I feel like it feels really, really nice. I'm not going to lie. It feels really, really smooth. It can kind of put it where I want it. It feels kind of nimble everywhere as well. Oh, but just little things where it just needs a suspension. I feel like it's going to be one of them bikes where it's not the greatest without. I might even end up just, you know, fiddling around with setup a little bit in a second, and then just seeing what it's really like, see what it's really capable of. But it doesn't feel terrible without a suspension. But I tell you what I might do is I'm going to go back to the garage and I'm going to make a few little tweaks, a few little changes that I'd make to all Supercross bikes. And then I'll come back and we'll see how it does with a setup on. Alright, we've thrown a little setup together. Just something that I've made. It's not anyone's or, you know, made by a professional. It's just something that I normally change on Supercross suspensions, make it a little bit stiffer, make it a little bit more planted, hopefully, in the whoops. But yeah, let's see how it runs now with a little bit of a setup, basically a little bit more help now than what it had before. Obviously, it would have been a little bit soft. It didn't really want to get through the whoops, and it made it a little bit harder to get through some rhythms. But with this little setup, it might make it feel a little bit better. But like I said, it's not a professional setup or anything like that by any means. Just something that I normally change if I'm on a stock setup in Supercross. It's normally just stuff that I change and update going into it, just to make it feel a little bit better. A little bit wheelie-ish in the whoops there, but that's not too bad. Back down into second again, because we've put it a little bit longer, so you can kind of get away with staying in second for a bit longer than we normally would. I kind of like that feature. It gives you a lot more customization. Gives you a bit more room to work with for gearing. I know a lot of people prefer really, really short gearing. A lot of people prefer really, really long gearing. I prefer short gearing, but long enough that I haven't got to like shift all the time. So this could be like a perfect midpoint for me to try and, you know, kind of figure out how I want my gearing. Could be very, very nice. And also all the suspension guys out there, all the suspension creators and Discord guys and everything like that, be interested to see what they do with the gearing, whether they like fiddle with it all, change it, whether there's like a meta gearing, maybe there'll be a meta gearing. There never has really been a meta gearing before, but with all this, like all the changes you can do now, there could be a perfect little like sweet spot that everyone kind of enjoys and likes. But I feel like gearing is always personal preference, so I don't feel like there ever will be you know, a gearing that everybody's using, like everybody's on the same gearing. But yeah, I don't think that could ever. I don't think that would ever be a thing. I don't think meta gearing would ever be a thing. But you never know with this game. I'll be completely honest. I mean, I posted a TikTok the other day of like a hot lap around Moto 101, and someone said, "How do you not slide out?" And then someone else replied to that saying, "It's his tire pressure." So we don't have some like secret tire pressure that gives us infinite grip that we're all keeping to ourselves. Like, no, we're running everything that everyone else is running. We're all on the same stuff. I'm literally running stock tire pressure on this bike. I don't change tire pressure. The OEM team, they put the tire pressure to what works best with the bikes. So a lot of people don't really fiddle with that. A lot of people don't really change it. A lot of the OEM team does all the tire pressure and everything like that and finds a good like midpoint, a good balance with the tires. So there's not really a reason to change it. But yeah, I feel like people will always believe that pros have some secret, you know, some secret stuff from the OEM team, or we're on different bikes. Or some people say that the pros ride different OEMs to everyone else. It's like, no, we get given what you guys get given, and we ride what you guys ride. Like, there is no difference. We're all on the same stuff. It's just we have, you know, suspension sponsors that can help with it. And we just have things like that that help us get better. And obviously we have thousands and thousands and thousands of hours in these games, or in this game. So yeah, I do see a lot of that all the time, where it's he's on different things, it's his tire pressure, pros have secret gearing, and it's like, no, not really how the game works. It's not really, you know, we can't really have pro bikes and amateur bikes, not quite how the game works. But yeah, some things are quite funny, some comments are quite funny that you see about this game sometimes. But yeah, finish off this lap, and then we'll go try this beast on outdoors. But I'm not going to lie, a good SPX suspension setup or something on this bike, and this thing will absolutely bark. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing when this bike comes out, because, I don't know, I think they want to put it out before Supercross. Obviously, I'm saying I think because I'm recording this before they're out, but this video will probably be out once they release it, or if they say that we can post stuff on it. But yeah, I don't think it's going to be a full OEM pack. I could be completely wrong there. But I don't see why they do that in the week of A1, bring out a new bike pack. But I guess we'll never know. But yeah, let's go over and let's go try an outdoor track. I don't want to try a national track or a normal like easy track, but we'll figure it out. We'll find we'll find an outdoor track that we want to try. So yeah, I'll see you guys on the outdoor course. Alrighty, we are on an outdoor track now. We have chosen RD, is it Cactus Ranch, I think it's called. I don't really get to ride the Reap Dock tracks that often, I'll be completely honest. So thought I'd hop on. So shout out Reap Dock. Thank you very much, Mr. Reap Dock, for the course. This track has been out for a while. If you guys didn't get it, I believe it's on the shop. I believe it is. But yeah, I thought we'd try a nice, simple outdoor track. Get one with a few jumps. Get one with a few bumps. We're on a full stock setup again. Full, completely stock setup again. Only thing I've changed is a bit of the gearing, because I like to have my own kind of gearing on the bikes. But oh my word, we have launched that a little bit. But yeah, I just prefer to have my own gearing. But all the suspension, everything like that, is all completely stock. So we're going to see how it handles all these bumps, some of these big jumps. We're just going to sort of relearn the track as well while we're at it, because we have not ridden this track for a very, very long time. It's been a little while since we've ridden this track. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of try. I didn't really want to do like a national kind of track. I didn't really want to do like a full-blown national, like an Ironman or something like that. I kind of wanted to try on some jumps, on some flat corners, and kind of understand how the bike feels. Now, I will say this. I don't know if this is for all the bikes, but this feels like it's got a lot more, not a lot more traction, but it feels a lot more stable in the corners. It feels like I can control it a bit more. So yeah, I'm not too sure if that's just a Triumph or if that's like all the work in progress bikes in general, but it feels almost a lot more controllable in flat corners, which I kind of like. I like that. Again, feels nice and stable in the braking bumps, which is nice. Jump up here and then nice and smooth. Obviously, we've put longer gearing on the bike. We've put a longer second gear and a longer third gear, so that we can kind of not have to shift too much. But I like this got quick shift on the bike. I really do like quick shift on bikes. It makes them a whole lot easier to ride, a whole lot smoother to ride. And if you do need to do some, you know, quick shifts, then you can. You haven't really got to worry too much about not being able to. For some reason, I thought that was a double, not a triple step up. So don't know why I case out like that. Then you want to jump out wide here, up to third. Oh, we're not going to get enough speed now because we set out a little bit. We're going to have to scrub it. It's fine. We'll scrub again. But it feels very, very nimble. It feels like such a light, nimble bike. I'm not too sure what the like weight is compared to the KTM. See if we can just go over here. Just gonna go double because I can't remember what the line is for here. But we're not on about the track today. We're talking about the bike. See if we can go triple in. It needs a little bit of help. I think that's the one kind of issue that I'm seeing with this bike, is it needs a lot of help suspension wise. I feel like it's going to need quite a bit. I don't know. I feel like it's going to need a good suspension to sort of make it a worthy bike. It kind of does everything you want it to do, but not as well as you want it to do, if that makes sense. It feels almost a bit too spongy. It's sort of sucking the power away on the lip of the jumps by just being too soft. It's like compressing way too much. Almost, it's not giving you the pop that you need. It's sort of compressing it, and it's making you just like stay low. but on some of the jumps you want to be like launching. It's kind of hard to get over them, which is why in Supercross it kind of struggles a little bit. You kind of want to be launching the jumps sometimes in Supercross, but this bike kind of struggles with it just with the suspension. But like I said, get a comfortable suspension, get something that you like, maybe something a little bit stiffer, a bit more preload, and I could see this bike being one of the top bikes, not gonna lie. I feel like with it having quick shift as well, and it rides very, very smooth, the power delivery and everything is really, really smooth on it as well. I'm not like looping it, doesn't feel like it's like wheel spinning at all. It doesn't really feel like it's got any sort of traction issues or power issues on that end. It just feels like it needs a suspension to kind of make it a usable bike. So yeah, being completely honest about these bikes, I'm not like, you know, I'm not one of them guys that kind of says they're perfect, nothing needs to be changed, you know, they're absolutely perfect as they are. Not all of the bikes are going to be perfect, and everybody knows that. So I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys. I'll be completely honest with the bikes. If they're absolutely terrible, I will let you know that they're absolutely terrible. And if they're really good, I'll let you know that they're really, really good. But like I say on this one, I can't seem to get this triple in. Let me go make a, let me put my Supercross suspension on that I just made, and I'll see if it makes it a little bit easier. Right, so when I put my Supercross suspension on that I went and made a minute ago, and we're going to see if the triple's a lot easier, see if it sort of proves my point about, you know, needing a bit of a setup to help it and support it a bit. Ooh, still struggled a little bit, but I didn't have great corner speed. So maybe you need to just like track the corners a bit more. Let's go out a little bit wider. Keep it in second gear instead of third. Second gear might be the play here. And then send it. Oh, it's a bit of a, still a bit of a stretch. But yeah, I feel like could be a very setup dependent bike. That's kind of what I'm gathering from riding this, is it could be rather setup dependent. But it feels like a very, very smooth bike. It feels like I can kind of, you know, scrub it, throw it about, put it in this corner, dump the clutch a little bit, you know, send this. Like, it feels like a good, usable, nimble bike. But yeah, I think that'll do it. Overall, I'd give it a 8 out of 10. Feels very nice, feels very smooth. The power delivery on it is very, very nice. I'm not wheel spinning, I'm not looping. It's sort of a very, very smooth 450. Just feel like it's going to be very setup dependent. I feel like on this bike, you're going to have to be fiddling with setups or trying different things, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. But yeah, like I said, that'll do it from me. These bikes will probably be out by the time, you know, this video comes out. I'm not 100% sure, like I said, whether it's a full entire pack or if it's just like a Triumph update. But you guys will know by the time this video comes out. If there is a full new OEM pack, then I will have the link in the description for you guys. But either way, I'll have the link in the description, whether it's just a Triumph or the OEM pack. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching. Like, subscribe, and I will see you all in my next video. Peace.